Hey, good afternoon. So, I think I'm gonna start this one out with like some shit I am thankful for. For example, this dude I dated, Jamal, I'm not gonna say his last name, he suggested an air fryer to me, and at first I was like, no, I don't need that. I don't have room for that in my house or whatever. And then after we stopped dating, I went and bought it myself, and dude, fuck yeah, fuck yeah. I bought these fries, and excuse me while I stuff my face. They got cold, and then I could just pop them in the air fryer for a minute, and oh, dude, now they're bomb as fuck. Like, then I added more cheese to it because they're cheesy bacon fries. Cause yum. Also, want to like just say, everybody that makes videos and then does all the, I think I've been trying to do too much. I got so many videos on my phone, and I'm like trying to edit them and trying to learn how to do this or that on them, and I lose focus, and then when I try and go back to it, I'm like, oh well, I have another video, and then I started another project, and it's always been my issue, focus on one thing at a time. So I got like several videos, and I'm just like, oh, shout out to all the people who do so much with their videos, and they look so cool. And then shout out to the people who never felt the need to even try and do all that with their stuff, and they're still doing great, successful. They don't have the best resolution, they don't have the best mic on their phone, and that didn't stop them. Good for them. I think I'm gonna go back to what I was more focused on, and I was just making videos and posting them so I could stay on a more consistent schedule. Also want to say, you know, everybody should be holding each other accountable for their children. Though no one should beg anyone to be a participant in their child's life. That just creates a not a good energy around the child. Though if the parent wants to be in the kid's life, then I think you should give them another chance, to varying degrees. And I know everyone's situations are different. Just for me, I have 3 baby dads. Baby dad number 1. So I was 16 when we got together, and he was 24, and we got pregnant, or I got pregnant about 2 months after us being together, and he and I lived together for about the first year of our son's life, and then he was pretty sporadic. He still lived in Washington State, and then after that he moved to Massachusetts, and never moved back. And that was when Malachi was 3, and that was really hard on Malachi when he left. He had a really hard time potty training, Um, and then he finally was like potty trained at like um, almost like 2.5, 2 3/4, and he was only potty trained for a few months. And then once his dad moved away, um, he was no longer, he was no longer potty trained. He like reverted back, and he was like that for like another year and some. Very difficult, and I used to call him all the time and beg him to make my phone ring so Malachi could answer it. I could still feel that pain. And it didn't do Malachi any favors. It didn't help him, and it didn't make his dad participate more. It stressed me out, and it's no good. No good. Doesn't help, and it doesn't make him come back in the kid's life. He kept promising me that he would move back to Washington when he was done with school. Made all these promises, so I waited to file for child support because he always said if I filed for child support, this or that was going to happen, and I just kept feeling like all I want is my son to have a father. You know, I can do this. I'm Miss Independent. You know, singing those songs in the car. Like, I don't need no man. I don't need him to help me with no bills. I got this. Even at 17, living in an apartment, working and everything. I've never moved back home. I'm 30 now. I mean, I kind of am ish. I mean, back in my hometown, but I never moved back in with my parents. There was like a week and a half that I lived back there with them, but I digress. That's how I talk. I start talking about one thing and then whoop, another thing, and then whoop, back to the original topic. I think I smoked like 5 bowls too before coming out here for this. Kind of stressful talking about this stuff. So I waited to file for child support, and if anything, I was helping him. I was giving him money. My grandmother too. See, he'd play on this fear because I don't know if it's true or not. It doesn't really matter what it was about. I'm not even going to go into that. It just makes me mad. I don't want to feel bad. Anyway. And then one day, when Malachi was like almost 6, that's when I was like, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm filing for child support. You see our son maybe once a year for like a week or something. You never call him. You don't even send him a card. You don't even write him letters. Like, I don't know. I filed for child support. Malachi's 12 and a half now. Child support order is $231 a month. And he owes me he owes the state like $3,000 because I was on TANF for a little time. But other than that, he owes like a total of like $15,000, like almost 16 in child support. So it's not like he hasn't paid zero. It's just like not consistent, and I mean, not very much. I'm grateful for what I have gotten. I've been able, because like Malachi recently is just like, he's outgrown like 3 different wardrobes. And you know what? His dad calls him just as much now as what he did a year ago, 2 years ago. All that season, just as much now as what he did then. The only difference now is that I don't spend my time and my energy texting him saying, why don't you call our son? Why don't you be involved? I don't invest my energy in that crap. What's the point? Fast forward to yesterday. What was that, like April 14th or something, 2020, or I don't know, April 15th. I don't know what. It's Thursday. I don't remember what day of the month it is. Shokia got to see her dad, which is my baby dad number 3, for the first time since December. So that's like December, January, February, March, April, 4 months. She's 8 months on the 15th, which I think we already had, maybe. That's right. So he's missed out on half of her life. I mean, he Skyped me. Well, not Skype. I call all video calls Skype. I don't know why. It's one of those things generic. I think it was like, no, it was just like regular phone call, video call. And he used to talk the most crap, because I've known him for 10 years. I've actually known all 3 of my baby dads a long time. I met all 3 of them around the same time. Kinda. Well, I met baby dad number 1 first. And then I met baby dad number 2. And him and I broke up. And then I met baby dad number 3. Didn't have a kid with baby dad 2 or 3 until like years later. But those 4 months of him, Mr. Tyrone, being all absent from her life. When he'd call or text me about seeing her, I respond. He didn't even ask to see her in person, or when he asked to see her in person in February, I was like, yeah, I'll meet you, and I'll come tomorrow, meet you in your city. And he's like, oh, I had to get back to you, and never did. It was fine. I'm not tripping. I'm not gonna start occupying my life worried about that. When he wants to participate, we'll see. We'll see how we can work that out. I want her to know who her biological father is. If you want to be a dad and a participant, that's cool. We can figure that out. Shit gets complicated when you tell a mom, hey, drop our daughter off with me on Christmas Day. You pick her up on 26th, and then you just keep her from her for days. Shit gets complicated then. Still want her to know him. But I ain't begging nobody. And yeah, I put him on child support too. I didn't wait. I lie. I did. I waited 2 months. All I wanted from him was him to pay the minimum balance on a credit card in my name that he maxed out. He failed to pay the monthly payment 2 months in a row. Promises. Nah, I ain't got time for this no more. I learned with baby dad number 1 that this is how it goes. Baby dad number 2 was on some BS with me too, so yeah, he's on child support. They all owe back child support. And that's all because of choices they made not to make any effort of making payments. It's all like, I don't know. They don't care. And that's okay too. Like I said, I'm not gonna spend my time or energy worried about that. People do what they want to do regardless of my response to it. And my response is my choice. And my response, I want peace in my life. I'm gonna hold you accountable. And get on with it. And that's my recommendation to everybody. Like, if the person you're made babies with isn't wanting to help out with financially, put them on child support. You have the kids the majority of the time, or you know, they're not wanting to help with this, that. Go get it on child support. That's what it's there for. It's actually easier and less stress if the person you're dealing with doesn't, you know, want to communicate and says, you know, blah 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 blah. Like, even if you're on hard times, you can do something. Like, and especially if you're not putting in the effort for the calls and stuff. Like, I don't know. Take care of your babies. They're the ones you need to be taking care of. Those grown people, men, women, somewhere in between, or whatever, like, they made the choice to make the babies. So they made the choice to be a participant in their financial care, and they should be held accountable. Well, thanks, y'all. I'm gonna finish my fries and talk with you later.